So yeah, I just thought that could be like viral, you know, or more viral than some of the other stuff.
For sure.
It's just so
unexpected. We had to take down the one that I posted. I thought it was funny. I think we cut it where literally first minute of the pod, I'm like, hey, guy, you know, before we go on, I'm like, hey, don't say anything crazy in the first 2 minutes. And then literally right off the bat, Sam's like, I'm in a fucking fat shit. So I was like, really?
You got to take it down? Or?
Well, I didn't want it, but then Bryan had a great big time to Frank Grillo was like, what the fuck? He's like, that's why like Sam's a liability. So Bryan last night's like saying all this stuff. He's like, Sam's a liability. And I was like, hold on, dude. Sam's Sam. He's a 90s comic. I knew exactly what I was getting. I love Sam. I said, the problem is partnering up and having a Hollywood guy. And they're like, obviously, Hollywood guy is super frowned upon. For what we do, that's on brand. I don't have a problem with that at all. I said, so, you know, maybe next time, if Frank does come back on, we don't have Sam there, or it's just not fit for Frank. Because that's our brand. Brand's like, it hurts people's feelings. Maybe if he was fat shaming, but him saying he likes fat chicks.
I know.
I was like,
he likes fat chicks. He's not calling anyone fat. I mean, it is funny.
Cross-eyed, like it was funny.
The logic.
And then I just go, okay, well, completely demonetized. Thank you guys. And Sam was, shit, you told us not to do that.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. And
the quote was funny too. I was like, told the guys before the show started, hey, don't say anything when you demonetize.
Yeah, that was the funny part to me.
Say less. 1 minute in.
That was the funny part to me that like you address, like you know, like okay, cool. Like 1 minute in, you know. Because otherwise it would would have been funny on its own, but then adding that. But then I didn't think about Frank Grillo.
Hollywood.
Because in Hollywood it's like, I mean, it's this fear. You know what I mean? It's like fear of like, oh my god, I'm around somebody who's saying they want to fuck fat chicks. Like that's gonna end your like. And I also think, look, if you analyze it logically, like how could that possibly affect Frank Grillo? Somebody else's speech that he
Brian,
didn't agree or laugh at.
You and I didn't. Like engage, I engaged on the nickname thing. I was like Sam the Tripoli, or no, Sam the Tornado Tripoli. And people were like, that doesn't rhyme. And then Callen like, it does if you're drunk. You know, it's like it's silly, but we didn't engage in the fat stuff.
No.
I was like, so.
Yeah. And then Brian, you even made it seem like you're uncomfortable because you're like, okay, like that's what we're doing, huh?
Brian's like, well, we don't want to engage with that. Like, we don't want to promote that because certain people's feeling like I disagree, man.
Yeah. It's funny how Bryan too is like almost like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of that. Like he'll seem like he's okay, but then like he'll like think about it, you know, and be like, that's not okay at all.
Yeah. He'll be like, we shouldn't highlight it. And he's like, then other big time actors won't come on. I'm like, good. It's not a fit, dude. Like, I kept throwing jokes out all night, and Frank wasn't picking up on it. It was but Sam, like, I got you, man. He was like, a real comic can get that. And I kept going, this guy. Point at Frank. Of course, I don't expect Frank to. Because when they showed Hugh Jackman, I was like, all natty. That guy's all natty.
And Frank didn't say anything?
And Frank was like, I don't think so. Look at this. What do you say? You know, how shreddy is it? I was like, oh, you think I'm serious? And Frank goes, I got the joke. I was like, thank you, Sam.
Okay, I thought you were saying Frank said that.
No, I was like, thank you, Sam. But Frank still didn't get it. And I kept going all natty. He was like, dude, you think? I was like, God damn it.
Literal Larry.
I know.
No, I think, like, I wouldn't say don't bring him on, but, like,
maybe
like,
partner with somebody else.
Because
Sam's, like, literally the most outrageous, which I enjoy.
I mean, I think
my fans love him.
You want him to be doing his most crazy, I think.
Yeah, that's why I have him on.
Benefit.
And then I asked the old friend, Sam a lot. He gave me when I started comedy. He's the only guy that put me at the comedy store.
So, and
I
Frank,
watch out for him.
do you think Frank had a good performance in general? Like,
he was good. Yeah, he was especially for that, especially coming from Friday night to that. Like Friday night, I was like, holy fuck, this might be the worst companion I've ever done. People think it's the best. I never know what's going on. And then I was like, oh, Barstool's gonna hate me. But then Tom and Zach talked to Barstool and like crushed it, home run for us. And like,
oh, really? Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what about the Theo stuff? Like, don't even give a fuck about Theo. We know what type of person Theo is, so don't worry about that. And then I was like, all right, so sign a year deal or what? And they're like, the way Barstool works is 3 weeks before the next Rough and Rowdy, they're like, yep, let's do it. He's like, so I guarantee we'll do more. I was like, but they won't. And that's what Tom's trying to push on. I guess Tom has a good relationship, represent some of the guys on Barstool. So he was like, well, I deal with this guy named Nat or some shit like that. And he was like, Dave Portnoy's right-hand man.
Yeah.
He's like, and him and this other guy who owned Rough and Rowdy went into Portnoy's office and like, we need to be in the shop, and like we need to work with Schaub on this.
Wow.
Portnoy's like, all right. So he's like, just knowing that, like, I'm sure I can figure out to get them to commit somewhat.
Yeah.
But he's like, I would have planned
Like using the people that
that are your allies there.
Spirit.
Yeah. And then what we're trying to do is, what I'm trying to do is do Rough and Rowdy companions and sell food truck to Barstool.
Okay.
And open food truck up to different athletes.
Yeah.
Because I had a conversation with Mike yesterday, and Rogan, my brother. I was like, man, it feels just like, and maybe it's just because I'm overworked. You know, 2 companions, 2 food trucks, Monday, Tuesday, finding kids, shop. It's just I just need a break. You know.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Yesterday when I was driving in to do the Curtis Blades, I know Curtis isn't the biggest personality, and neither was TJ. And then Frankie's Frankie. I was just like, man, I just don't. Might have ran his course, and that's fine. Like, I created the show 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I want to stay with the MMA space, man. Like, everyone knows food truck. No one does it. No one can come close to what I've built. That's all good. And I was like, man, maybe it's just time to walk away. Like, every show has its course. Like, what are you going to do it the next 10 years? There's no way. You can't. So I came in with the willing to give up on it. But then talking to Mike and talking to Tom and Rogan, they're saying, yeah, I think there's more you can do with it if you want to. And then Tom was like, what about selling it like to Barstool?
Yeah.
I was like, because I knew it would take a hit because on Showtime, minimum views is like 275,000 for like a terrible fighter.
Yeah.
And I was like, and, some are at 1.2 million, 1.6 million.
Yeah.
Like, we have, I think, 8 ones over 1 million.
Yeah.
He was the biggest show ever they've ever had on there.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, so it's there. And I was like, but he's like, when you do jump to, that's what the YouTube guy said too, he goes, when you jump channels, not everyone's going to follow. So you're going to have to recondition the audience.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I knew it was going to take some hit, Because I don't know, we've talked to every fucking fighter. Obviously, there's some new ones here and there, but in general.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with it. But I went to the Curse Blades one. He trains for my old team. He lives in my hometown now.
Yeah.
So I went to him. I kind of have some stuff in common, but even though he had a stutter and was kind of shy, he was great.
Okay.
And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I like doing it.
Yeah. No, I think that's, and it seems like often, your expectations, like, are subverted by what the fighter, actually brings to the table. For better or for worse.
I think what hurts my ego, and obviously I knew I had to check my ego when I jumped ship from Showtime. Now I'm fighting opponents I didn't think I'd have to fight. YouTube, Woke, Instagram, social media, Reddit. I knew Reddit was going to be there, but those other, like YouTube and all that stuff, and Shadowban and all that, I didn't think of it, like all that. But then also, like, even talking to the Barstool guys, like, man, how long Schaub had to take away? And like, a year. He's like, you had 160,000 subs? It's faster than we got.
Yeah.
Like, really? He's like, yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's a good thing to put in
ego.
perspective, even though you're coming from this place and, you're, I don't know, if you're fantasized about being like just being, and it's going to be like same view, like it's just going to like take the baton and then get the same exact views, and obviously it's much more complicated than that. But as you're saying, like the threshold for it, it's not as if like there isn't an appetite for it, as you've pointed out, like from where it is. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's just going to be something that like however many views you're getting now on average is the limit to it. You see the greater potential for it. It's just, these things do make a difference. Having a bigger platform.
It might be my ego, but and I always thought about opening it up, like you open up all sorts of dope athletes, and that's where even if Barstool doesn't buy it, I think we start doing that.
Yeah.
Even though Think Boy is an MMA channel, I think that could put us in different spaces.
Yeah.
Like Baker Mayfield's down to do it. We have all these NFL guys, college guys.
And I just think,
Dion's down to do it at CU. It's like, be massive.
I don't know why.
I might have to travel for some of them, but it would just make sense to open up. And it also, like David Goggins, I hate to quote people, but David Goggins was on Rogan. I don't know if you heard it.
Not the most recent one. I've heard
It's
several
good.
of his episodes.
Because he doesn't do any other podcasts, only Rogan. He's like, I don't fuck podcasts. He goes, I don't like talking like this. He's like, I do my shit when I'm running. He's like, but I fuck with you, Rogan. I respect you. He's like, so I only do your podcast. And Rogan's like, when's the last time around there? He's like, I don't know, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. He's like, now I'm back. He's like, I have a book to push, and now I'm back. So, but he was talking about like once you reach a certain level, your room for growth is so small. Like so, people that work at the like are high functioning, like are successful, like your growth is so minute. You got to move on to something else. And like Tim Dillon talked about the same thing. He's like even with his show and what he's doing, he's like, yeah, switch it up.
Yeah.
You can only. He goes, I don't care what show is your favorite show on TV. They can't go on for 20 seasons, so you gotta adapt.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I need to do that because it's not that the fire's gone. This week's been tough dealing with the stress with this. It used to be so much easier if we were friends.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be way easier. Like Kyle, I was like, fired. He's
Yeah.
like, wait, what? I'm like, I don't need to explain it.
Yeah.
It's my job. It's my business. You're fired.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's it. You
Yeah.
know, but with it, it's just different. It is.
Yeah.
You know, but there's something to it. You know, it's not that I lost my fire. It's just with that show and the views aren't what it was. And like Brian Daly, who was my boss at Showtime, was just like, man, how's life for a thick boy? You know, I see him crushing it. And I was like, the guy's crushing it. You know, it's tough, man. There's some growing pains and things I didn't think about. And he was like, yeah. He was like, man, people aren't in the food truck anymore. I'm like, fuck you.
Just the
You know, like, and I'm sure like Luke Thompson, and I know, you know, maybe they're not, but I know they see it. You know.
Yeah.
If you're gonna predicate views off the first year, whether this was the right choice or not, like,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys win.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay.
Right. I do feel like, okay, see, I thought when you first
That's
said
what
that, it was kind of like an artful but not deliberate way of speaking that. But you're implying that it was like a kind of backhanded comment.
Yeah. Go, see you crushing it, man. Like that Barstool thing was great, but I'm like, oh, thanks. We haven't talked in forever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, food truck.
Crazy
How
how
it
we-
used to be, huh? Have you know, Luke and Bryan Campbell just won whatever MMA Show of the Year on MMA Awards.
Yeah.
I respond back, I go, who votes for those? Question mark.
I fucking hate
I said
that guy,
Ariel
by the way,
also won
the
Journalist
Campbell
League.
guy. Yeah. No, he's always like. If I saw him, I'd slap him in the face. I swear to God.
He takes things in the weekend, and which is weird because Luke's my like.
Yeah.
I got what they don't. Well, Bryan doesn't know this. Like Bryan was hired out after Luke, but I got Luke the job at
Yeah.
straight up vouch for him. So, Luke just got live for me, but
No, it's just
why don't
it's
you
just
check
like
your boy.
100% because what? Okay, I'll delete this comment if you want, but somebody tagged Tiger Thick in Bryan Campbell's wedding, and they were like, "Oh, is this wedding sponsored by Tiger Thick?" And from the Tiger Thick account, I put, "Bryan Campbell's obsessed with Tiger Thick, almost as much as he is with the owner."
Hilarious.
It was just like winky face.
Yeah.
It's like, say I'm wrong, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I get from it is like, dude, you're in your 40s, like making constant reference to a subreddit, like in like veiled ways, where it's like, if you don't like the manly thing to do would be like, hey, fuck Brendan Schaub, like, but you're like homeless cats and fucking PF, you're like making all these references to it. It's like, right, and it's just like, bro, you fucking pussy, you know. And it also like it clearly makes Luke uncomfortable. Like every time he's like, like, oh my god, yeah, okay, like
Luke
that we're doing,
doesn't chime in, though, but
no, he just like, but it's like he's making it awkward for Luke because
I just wish Luke like that.
Luke can't. You're right.
I wish Luke would have been like, hey, you know, the only reason we're here is because Schaub, right?
Right.
Like none of this happens if Schaub didn't give us the pass.
Right.
Like he
Right.
literally took. I literally
Yeah.
called Bryan and said, you guys really got the guy.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, he has a contract. So I called Luke, like, negotiate everything. I was like, what are you making? He told me, I'm like, hey, I have to be more than this. Bryan's like, I think we have the budget. Let me see. Who else can we get? I'm like, I don't know who Luke wants to work with, but ask him. He had Bryan, obviously, and I didn't know Bryan then. Bryan does boxing for CBS, and they had me and Bryan do Floyd Mayweather weigh-in together. And
Yeah.
it just didn't gel well because he kept making like these dad jokes, and I was like, and that's when the Reddit paid attention because I was like, and
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And I was like, are we done?
Yeah.
And I was like, you're just gonna keep doing this bit thing you're doing? And he's like,
Yeah.
I thought you were a comedian. I'm like, I am, not here. There's a place for that. It's not like there's just this weird like.
Right. And so I guess.
So Reddit probably went to him and was like, yeah, fuck, how terrible was Schaub? And he was like, yeah, he's the worst. And then it just built this
I know,
thing.
because it's funny. It's like if you go there and think that that's like representative of something, you know, that like.
But if that's a guy
you're
who's
looking
never
for
had any
reinforcement.
support, you know?
Right. No. And just doing that though, like leaning into that again. If you, I know. Here's the other thing. whenever you see, it's always like a particular genre for me where they'll have like guys who think of themselves like they don't do stand-up comedy, but they think they're like funny podcasters, but they're really just dramatic. They're like drama-based channels, you know. That's a particular niche where I can see like, oh, there's resentment there because like you're basically asserting like I'm the funny, like he's not funny, I'm funny, you know. And but what you're really doing is like continually like insulting somebody, and that's what I feel like Campbell's doing. Is he thinks he's the funny guy? You know, like tried to do that with you. Yeah. He's like, obviously he still feels stung by that because I always feel like, what's the motive? You're just like shitting on a guy you don't like. I didn't know that you would actually interact with him like that.
But I was cool. You know, I'm a professional, so I was just keep doing. He's like, I thought it was like improv. I was like, for Floyd Mayweather weighing, like I'm just here to do a job. I don't want to be here. We're in a fucking DoubleTree hotel for the like. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, I was like, yeah, great working with the man. Let him do all the X's and O's, and then. You know, I wasn't mean to him at all. Didn't embarrass him. Could have lit him up. It was like, you know, love the place.
Yeah. That
those guys never win.
That makes a lot of sense because
it's also like those people that lean into the red. How's it worked out?
Yeah.
Khalyla's hating their life.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah. Chase Hooper.
Yeah, how's that work out? I think he has a job.
Yeah. But no, that explains a lot because it seems like it was like oddly personal. Every time I watch him, I'm like. But
you got to remember
doing this
too,
for how long
when
now?
When it came to Showtime, I was the big dog. Like, nothing got done. Like they'd be like, "Hey, when should we release? You know, Morning Combat?" And I was like, "All right, well, my shows drop Monday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
they can do any time after Wednesday. So they can drop Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
they can't drop before that. So I think for him, especially, he's been a journalist for 10 years.
Right.
Like this kid, I was like, "Yeah, bitch, I read you don't do." And also, I created this entire platform.
Right.
We didn't have any digital footprint, you know?
Yeah. And I imagine there's resentment from there. But, like, just even as a spectator, like, I get that banter, but, like, I'm not watching anything he does on his own. I'll watch what Luke Thomas does on his own.
Yeah, Luke's the draw there. I mean, that's why they had to pair him up with it, you know?
Yeah.
We're supposed to have some big announcement today, so we'll see.
But, yes, I think
we're in the same lane. But
brilliant idea to bring other athletes on because you also, like, you're curious about them as well. It's not like you'd be like, oh wait, like football player, what do I do with that? No, that's an obvious one. But several other athletes, you would be drawn to these stories and narratives anyway. I think the interview like format is all the same. You know what I mean? And it's just bringing in popular athletes.
Yeah, I think it'd be dope. So if you have a good story and like you get Baker Mayfield like talk about all sorts of shit with his history. It just opens up to more fans, and other places pick it up, just builds the network, you know?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah. And you could, I mean, it doesn't have to be all at once, but like, you know, you could expand into coverage of other sports if you wanted to. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I'm thinking just now that the young people call out, I'm doing campaigns for the games.
Oh, nice.
They're not like, when I come to see you,
Mark Harley gave me and released the Bapa files. By the way, there's a lot more audio. I didn't even know how to do this. I'm like, how much of this can I even put up? But I just figured put up half of it. Don't blame me for the quality or anything. Apparently, Mark Harley went all deep throat with this. I don't know what he's recording on, but he just showed up to Schaub's house. Now, the reason why he recorded this is Schaub had already had the falling out with him, and this is Schaub bringing him back, trying to negotiate with Mark to have him come back and work with him. So Mark, everyone hates Bapa and secretly records him. But all right, Theo got a trashing, Bryan, Khalyla. Morning Combat, though, he went after Brian Campbell. I knew it, too. He had to have hated Brian Campbell. Brian Campbell stays with the Brendan Schaub references. And you have to remember, people, this is from years ago. So this is from when Mark Harley still worked with Bapa. So he's felt that way for years. And I think Morning Combat's over now or whatever. But the entire thing, this entire meeting, and like he talked about being shadow banned on Instagram, and then the Tripoli thing, and like all you can glean from this is Bapa truly has no idea what's happening. He has no idea what he's doing. He's obsessed with Reddit and little stuff nobody cares about. Hung up on the minutia of stuff nobody cares about. But the Bapa files truly are an incredible thing here, people. This man is losing everything. Lawsuits. And then to have your former employee, the handler, Mark Harley, who's in Super Bowl commercials and on SNL and hanging out in music videos with A$AP Rocky, and his career took off, and yet he still has the time in his day to release stuff on you. And on March 9th, you got to go to court. You're probably going to lose and have to pay him just like everybody else. The downfall of Bapa is hilarious to me. This whole thing, it's shocking. I love that thing that when he's talking about Khalyla. Because what was his point with Khalyla there? Mark was telling him just ignore the Reddit, and Schaub was just like, yeah, that's what Khalyla said. How'd that work out for her? Like, hey, stupid, how'd it work out for you, Schaub? My God. The Theo thinks, I guess Schaub was going to try and do a deal with Barstool. And this is when Theo first left. And he's like, Barstool knew what Theo was. So he gave Theo a trashing there. But apparently Schaub was going to try and get, like, talk about other sports on Sick Boy and get other people. And he lied to Mark Harley saying, Baker Mayfield already signed up. He's down. It's like, no, he didn't. You have to remember, as someone in my chat brought this up, this man claimed Aaron Rodgers became partners with him on his Panther Thick whiskey crap. And by the way, we're not going with Tiger anymore. Like someone in my comments said, we're just going with Panther now. But you're trying to sell, he said Aaron Rodgers partnered with him with Panther Thick whiskey. And then we found out he sold it as a charity thing. So homeboy let him borrow money, and Schaub was like, I sold my company, and the dude just gave him Panther Thick, and the dude never stopped selling it. So this is sad. The Bapa files are hilarious. This and my constant war with Schaub. That's why, like, I'd be telling you people to like donate, especially hitting that link. Oh my God, the constant behind the scenes battles you don't get to see, or stuff I can't talk about, because if I do, I'll be dragged into court. I won the lawsuit, but he appealed, and the appeal is still going on, and they're still doing copyright stuff and a whole bunch of crap. But like I said, there is still more of this audio, people, and more to come. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.